Olga from Moscow, Russia, writes, Paul, I've heard systems where the imaging is just stunning. You close your eyes and instruments are floating in space, precisely placed. That's the sound I want. I've come close in my own system, but I'm not quite there yet. What are the key ingredients to getting that kind of lock-in effect with imaging? Is it all about speaker setup, or do the electronics and sources matter too? And how do you know when you've truly nailed it? Well, when you truly nail it, you'll know. Believe me, it just jaw drops. You're like, oh man, we're sitting in the listening lab right now, and we have that here. When you listen here, oh my goodness, tears, exclamations, a lot of head shaking, jaw dropping, because this room, this system, all bring that to the forefront, and you get it. But how do you get that? Well, look, for us, it's not that bad because we've spent the last 50-something years building an entire system of loudspeakers, amplifiers, preamplifiers, DACs, and all of that just work. Come up with a decent room, put a PS audio system in, and you got it. It's that simple. And people take a pair of FR5s, right? They're what, $3,000, something like that, and set them up in their room. Take like our integrated amplifier and a streamer, and you have audio nirvana that's going to snap in place and make it all work. But how do you do that in general? Well, first off, you're going to have to start with loudspeakers that allow that to happen. And you need to set them up properly. One of the reasons I wrote the Audiophiles Guide, a set of books that you can find on Amazon, is for that very reason. So all kinds of speakers are very, very different. If you're doing and setting up a pair of our Aspen loudspeakers, it's pretty easy. Aspen loudspeakers like to be straight ahead with just a slight amount of toe in. That's because they have a very wide and smooth off-axis and on-axis response. And it makes it very easy to set them up. I mean, it takes 10 minutes and you've snapped that image beautifully. Other speakers are not quite so easy, and some are. You just have to figure out what speakers you're having. So I write about in the Audiophiles Guide some speakers. Let's take Wilson Audio. Wilson Audios, you don't want to set them up like you do Aspens, because they don't have that characteristic. They have a lot of other great characteristics, but not that characteristic. So with Wilsons, you're going to want to spread them kind of apart. You're going to want to point them more at you, and then all of a sudden, you'll get that image snap. Magnaplaners, got to be away from the wall. I mean, so on and on and on, depending on what kind of speakers you have. Get some, if you don't want to get the Audiophiles Guide, then find a reference, find somebody who knows what they're doing, because it's all about setup. Now, I'm assuming you have decent equipment, because it's also about the equipment, but let's imagine that you have decent equipment. Now it's all down to setup. And setup so many times is done wrong. I would say 80, 90% of the time I walk into a system, it's set up wrong. It's set up not to the advantage, not to make sonic magic. It's just like, whoa. And I want to just, God, could you leave the room for a few minutes? Let me just futz with your system, and I'll set it up for you. And they're all different. Planers are different than box speakers, dipoles versus monopoles, electrostat. I mean, And then there's the electronics. With some electronics, it's kind of bright and hard. You can't solve it with setup. You can get close, but then you're going to have to change the electronics. So there's so many variables in there, but you have to start with setup. That's the key. Okay? I hope that helps. Thanks.